Hi, my name's Ian, and I never actually thought I'd be doing this, but here I am, because I've just had enough of the coronavirus stuff, and I'm going to show you why it's complete BS. So let's get started. The number of cases of coronavirus does not matter. Last year during flu season, the flu, which did not go away after 1920, and there are constantly new strains of, had at least 30 million cases, and that was in the US alone. There were probably more. As it stands right now, there are just under 10 million corona cases worldwide. I'm just bringing this up because everybody's losing it over how many total cases there are. Why aren't you afraid of the flu? So, think about this. A disease that constantly mutates each year for the last 100 years has more cases than the one grabbing the headlines right now. We don't worry about that one? Does this at all worry anyone that the leaders of the world, all countries, except Sweden apparently, is using this virus that has a low death rate, a survival rate in the 90% range, and 3 times less total cases, and we're worried about this? Don't forget, a few months ago they were saying that there were going to be 2 million deaths in the US alone, and right now in the US there are about 127,000 deaths. But they're going to say, because we shut down, that's why there's less deaths. Because we wear masks, that's why there's less. Except, no, total number of cases does not take into account who is getting sick. Death rates and recovery rates do, because that tells you what is happening with the virus. As I pointed out at the beginning of this, there were 3 times as many flu cases in the US alone. 60% of all coronavirus deaths are in the 65 and older range. The next lowest death rate is 50 to 64, which is at 2.9%, and then the other age ranges are fractions of a percent. Then you get to infants, which is slightly higher. And the graph I'm looking at from Business Insider isn't even complete data. We don't have all the outcomes from each case yet. It's almost like we should have just isolated and taken precautions with the high-risk population and let everyone else get on with their lives. Anyway, I live in the state of Utah, and I live in Salt Lake County. Our county mayor just mandated masks in public, and our weak-kneed governor okayed it. I'm not happy, because the masks are not really effective at stopping anything. All they are is a political tool to cull people into compliance with the government. First, let's look at an article from back in March about masks. The first article is called Coronavirus, Why Masks Don't Work by Renee Bremer at the Montreal Gazette. So, why masks don't work. Masks don't work as standard surgical masks don't get full coverage. If your hands are contaminated and you touch the mask, it will contaminate the mask. You contaminate things by contact with the virus and then contact with other things. When masks are saturated with moisture, which is after about 20 minutes, they no longer work. When are they useful? According to the article, wearing a mask can reduce the risk of getting sick by 80%, but wait, the N95 mask is the most effective, but medical professionals who wear these masks discard them after each use because they are only useful until they are saturated. Again, this takes about 20 minutes. The article goes into why hand washing is the most effective way to deal with the virus. The virus is most easily spread from contact on a surface and then touching the areas around your face. The surfaces are contaminated by the droplets, yes, but they don't live long on surfaces. And if the masks aren't effective after a short period of time, but you gotta wear them all day, they don't do anything to stop the virus. This is why washing your hands is the best bet with this. Soap actually kills the virus, like dead. So the next article was from the World Health Organization saying that asymptomatic spread of the coronavirus was very rare. According to the World Health Organization, the asymptomatic spread of the virus is very rare, and this was from a story on June 8th, not that long ago. They then walked back the comments shortly after. The woman who made that statement at a press conference, I guess, she walked it back saying that the question was a really complex question and that we don't have all the answers yet. But the question she asked was about the information they have. The information they have contradicts the narrative. Of course they had to walk it back. Here is the full quote of what she said about contact tracing and asymptomatic cases. So, some questions. If the only time the masks are effective is when you're sick, but they're saying the point of the masks is to stop asymptomatic spread, and the asymptomatic spread of cases is virtually non-existent, and the masks are ineffective after a short time, which is about 20 minutes, but you're required to wear those masks over the course of a day, what's the point of the masks? And I know what you naysayers will say, that's old data from months ago. Things have changed. The masks haven't. They're the same as they were months ago. Their lack of efficacy has not changed. The narrative has. Last, let's look at what a coronavirus actually is. A coronavirus is a virus that has a corona, a crown. It looks like this. It is a ball of fat that holds the virus inside of it. The sticks you see coming out of it are the corona or crown. They have proteins on the end that help it stick to things so that it can infect a host. Since it is a ball of fat and protein, in high heat it dies. The fat is boiled away, since it is a microscopic amount, and the virus dies. You know what else is a coronavirus? The common cold. Yeah, seriously. So as you can see, the masks are not effective at stopping the virus. And I know you're going to say, oh, well, the cloth mask. Nope, the effectiveness of the mask has never been in question. The only mask that makes any difference is the N95 mask, and that is still subject to the same issues when used too long. So, unless you want to change your mask a bunch of times throughout an 8-hour day, it's absolutely useless. So, a question. If I told you that there were 2.5 million cases of a disease in the United States, and that of those, 127,000 died, but 780,000 recovered so far, and I mean recovered, got over the sickness and didn't have to worry about it anymore, and that those rates have been rock solid for the last 3 months, would those sound like numbers we should be shutting down our country for and subjecting its citizenry to unjust mandatory mask requirements that, at best, stop the virus for 20 minutes? I didn't think so. I'll leave the sources that I've used in the description, and thanks for watching.